Thank you for being with me this afternoon. I've got two issues that I want to talk with you about, and they're both really tragic. First off, I want to introduce you to Elvia Espinoza. She's 46. She was a teacher at Ben Hill Griffin Elementary School, a second grade teacher. She had 3 children. She's described as the perfect mother. She was a beloved teacher in the Frostproof area. She had 3 children, and her 3 children were remarkable. And then I want to introduce you to her youngest child, Emmanuel Espinoza. He's 21. He's known as Manny. He was the 2020 Frostproof valedictorian with a 4.5 GPA average. He was quoted at his high school graduation by saying, "High school was just one of the chapters out of the many we will have throughout our lives. We still have so much to accomplish in the future that will define what kind of legacy the class of 2020 will leave behind." That's right. He was described as being a genius, of being remarkably brilliant. He was a pre-med student in his 4th year at the University of Florida. The next chapter of his life was to be a medical doctor. And interestingly enough, he was the youngest of 3 children. Mom called on Saturday morning and said, "Manny, I haven't seen you in a while." They would text about every other day. "I'd like to come up to Gainesville to see you." And he said, "Well, Mom, I'm visiting grandfather this weekend. He has an event, so I'll be down your way." She said, "That's great. Why don't you stay with me at the house?" And he said, "Sure, I'd love to." He arrived at about 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And we're going to show a clip. He had put earbud pods in his ear, and he was playing No Church in the Wow when he drove up to the house and knocked on the front door. But before we go further, listen to this. This is the music he was listening to. That was the music in his ear when he walked up to the front door. He said that he had just been angry or not liked his mother for years and years. When we said, "Do you love her?" He said, "Oh yeah, I love her." "Do y'all get along?" "Yeah, 8 out of 10 we get along. But I've wanted to kill her for years, and I made up my mind as I drove from Gainesville, today is the day." And he then showed up at the front door. Now we got a video clip of a Ring camera, and you can see the knife as he approaches the front door. Notice behind his back, there's the knife. He tried to open the door, and the door was locked, so he knocked on the door, and his beautiful mother was so excited to see her son, she opened the door. The second she opened the door, he charged in and started stabbing her. He made the statement that he knew where to stab her for maximum effect because of his biology classes. We have another audio that we're not going to play from the inside of the house where she's screaming, "Manny, Manny, Manny," and he's not saying one word. He stabbed her in excess of 70 times. He once again told us he loved his mom. As she tried to get up off of the floor, he stabbed her some more. He said he noticed her hands were still moving, so he stabbed her some more. And then he told the detectives in his confession that he had cut his hand on the knife while stabbing his mother. And as he's standing at the kitchen sink washing himself off and the knife, he wanted to ask his mother for the Neosporin for the cut on his hand. But he noticed she was dead. He immediately called 911 and confessed, and we have a clip of that for you.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. I told him. Okay, I've got help on the road. Stay on the line. What? Stay on the line with me, okay? I've got help on the road for you, okay? Okay, good. Okay, I want you, yes, sir, I want you to take everything out of your pocket. And I want you to keep your hands out of your pockets, okay? Okay, how did this happen?
He said he stabbed his mom. Now I want you to understand, this lady who was a school teacher for 20 years actually moved around and taught at different schools while her children were in school so she could be close to them. I want you to understand she was really the perfect mom. I want you to understand that she was very proud of his accomplishments in going to the University of Florida, graduating #1 in his high school class. And then I want you to understand that he viciously murdered her and confessed to it. We asked him, "Are you on any drugs or alcohol?" "No." He said, "I've wanted to do this for some time, but I didn't have the nerve to do it. So I just made up my mind that today was the day." And it was. Quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what else to say about this. It is one of the most bizarre murders that we've dealt with in a very long time. And when you see that he left a family behind that loved him, a mom that just worshiped her children, and at this very moment, she should have been in Ben Hill Griffin Elementary creating a future and educating our second graders. It is incomprehensible as to what happened that day. Before I go on to the second event, are there any questions about this?
Yeah, sure. Like you said, it really makes no sense when you hear the story. Is there any history of mental health issues?
No history of alcohol abuse, drug abuse, no history of mental health abuse or needs, no history of Baker Acts, no arrest history, no problems at all. He was known as kind of being an introvert, kind of a quiet guy. Zero issues.
No 911 calls?
No 911 calls about him, and no argument with her. She wanted to come see him because she hadn't seen him in a while. They text every day, every other day. They stay in constant contact. No issues over money. She would send him money to make sure she appropriately funded his ability to go to college and enjoy the college life. And no argument that day. He never said a word to her.
Did he say she beat him in the past or anything?
Nothing. Zero. He described her as a good mom, that she loved him and he loved her. And when we said, well, how well did you get along with your mom? And he says, oh, 8 out of 10. It is the strangest event we've seen in a very long time.
I know we're trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense, but the annoying or getting on any collaboration on that, or just normal mom stuff?
He made one statement that sometimes mom talks out loud to herself. She'll ask herself questions and then answer her question. He said, that's going on for years. Well, who doesn't talk out loud? Oh, I forgot the keys. Oh, there they are. Just, he couldn't even seek out, because our detectives asked him, like, come on, man, why? I just, I've thought about killing her for years.
Did he feel like she was a source of like pressure on him to get good grades?
He didn't express any of that.
Have you guys reached out to UF to see if there's any reports that they've gotten about him?
So far, we have gone back and searched his room at UF, and we don't see any information there, any notes, any communications that are indicative of this conduct or planning of such a murder. And obviously, we will, as part of the follow-up investigation, as you understand, this happened just Saturday afternoon, and we're still in the preliminary stages of the investigation. But I think that's what makes it so difficult for any of us to understand, is you've got this wonderful mom, and she's not only wonderful for her family, for her children, but you've also got this mom that has spent years teaching and is so well loved in the community. So it's very frustrating to all of us.